My name is Rideshare Sean. I own RideshareDriver.blog and OnlyYourBodyMatters.com and JustAwesomeShots.com. I'm on over 6 years now. The 2nd of April was my 6 years with Uber. So I'm an over 6 year full-time rideshare driver now. And these are 5 tips that are designed to help all rideshare drivers. Tip number 5 is always keep in your mind the safety of the passengers. If you focus on keeping them safe, you keep yourself safe also. Tip number 4, create a goal amount of income that you want to make each day. Before you drive, make sure you make that goal before you go driving for the day. Once you reach that amount, go offline in the Uber app. We want to limit wear and tear on your vehicle, and that will limit the wear and tear on your vehicle. The wear and tear on your vehicle is extremely expensive. Nobody counts that in any of the expenses, and that's a huge cost. Tip number 3 is keep up on the maintenance on your car as much as possible. Riders will rate you low if they hear noise coming from your car. Oftentimes these riders will rate you low if they hear a noise. They would think that it's coming from your car when it's actually coming from the car next to you. They rate you based on whatever they hear, so try to keep the noise in your car down to a minimum. Tip number 2, when speaking with a rider, always keep the conversation as light as possible. Try not to speak about deep subjects. An example of a deep subject that you do not want to talk about with riders is like cancer. Try everything possible to not talk about anything deep. Tip number 1 is always remember that you are the driver and are in charge of everything related to that vehicle while you're in the driver's seat. If anything goes wrong while you're in the driver's seat, there is no question on who's in charge and who's going to be responsible for anything that happens. So act that way. Make the decisions yourself. The driver should be making those decisions. Like when you pull up to a passenger, when you first see them, that starts your small window of whether or not you should stay or you should cancel that trip. The rider, they can cancel the trip whenever they feel like. But as the driver, when you first see that passenger, if they have a child, let's say, and the child is small but they don't have a car seat, that is a reason to cancel. Whatever you do, do not discuss it with them. Don't say, do you have a car seat for that child? Don't say anything like that. Either you're going to stay or you're going to cancel. That's it. If you have a discussion with that rider, then you are putting yourself in a position to where you might get one starred. You might not. The rider might completely forget about it or disregard it. That happens also. Sometimes they're cool, but if you have a discussion with them, that really increases your chances of getting a low rating based on that conversation. So like if you have a conversation with them and you decide to pick them up and take them because they went inside and got a car seat or did whatever, then you are making your chances for a very low rating much higher. It would be much better if you canceled that trip and went right on to the next one. There'll be other trips right behind that one. There's a lot more trips where that came from. So there is no question whether or not you should cancel or you should stay. You should do that based on what you as the driver think. Do not have a discussion with these riders.
As soon as I heard the TikTok for sale thing, and I was like, Mr. Wonderful should buy this.
Ask yourself a few questions. Do you think the Chinese would let us have an American version of TikTok in China?
No.
Okay. So I believe in reciprocal rights in terms of how we treat China. Whatever the rules are over there, those are the rules for them over here. They cheat, they steal, they rip off IP, they knock off my products. They've been doing it for years. I have nothing against the Chinese people. I don't trust the Chinese government. And apparently neither does Congress. I think TikTok's a fantastic network. I'd like to buy it. We're going to have to do this transition. We got to take TikTok China and turn it into TikTok USA. Who's the best person to do that? Me. I can do it. Problem I've got is the Chinese will not sell the algorithms. If the Chinese government doesn't want to sell it, let's just turn it off. All I'm saying is it's gotta be the same. Whatever the football field looks like in China, that's what it looks like in America for Chinese people and their government. We gotta be fair with each other.